It is only logical for us to focus on 2025 since 2024 almost ends. Samsung will be the first one to disclose its flagship offerings for next year, as the forthcoming Galaxy S25 range is scheduled to get announced in January and will spearhead Samsung's flagship push. Comprising all of Samsung's innovations in hardware and software, the Galaxy S25 Ultra in particular will be the most fascinating new gadget. View the images in our Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 review to notice unique black circles around the camera lenses on the rear. A design decision likely also applicable to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra based on most recent leaks. This comes via a picture from well-known tipster Ice Universe, and the post posted below shows a clear variation from the camera ring design choice on the present Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra variant. The picture also fits other leaked renders of this flagship. Hence, it is quite likely that this is the direction Samsung will travel with next year's Ultra model. Rumored are also more rounded edges and an asymmetrical frame. Given that the exact same design modification has also been hinted at for the Galaxy S25 Plus, there's a fair likelihood that we will really see this rear camera design on all three Samsung Galaxy S25 phones, which are anticipated to launch in January. You could argue that the new-look camera rings are less discreet and subtle in terms of their aesthetics than what we've got on the current Ultra model, but they have a certain sort of flair of their own and look likely to keep the actual cameras well protected. This tipster claims that although they are similar to the camera ring design of Fold 6, but not exactly the same. We'll have to wait to find the variations when these handsets are formally unveiled. There have already been quite a few unauthorized renderings of the Galaxy S25 Ultra published online in the previous few months, so we've got a fairly decent idea of what the phone is likely to look like provided the leaks are accurate, of course. We've also heard that the phone could have a slightly bigger screen, 6.86 inches instead of 6.8 inches, thanks to reduced bezels. And aside from the design, there's also been speculation of 16 gigs of RAM on board, up from 12 gigs, and a major speed bump. We can join some dots though, thanks to One UI 7's release date. Public betas for One UI 7 are expected by the end of 2024 for the Galaxy S24 series. Samsung also publicly confirmed that One UI 7 stable will launch in 2025 along with the next Galaxy. Presuming that Samsung doesn't want to run the One UI 7 beta program for several months, it means that we'll likely see the Galaxy S25 in the early stages of the year. This is confirmed by the fact that the South Korea-based corporation normally launches its Galaxy S phones near the beginning of the year. For the last 3 years, the publication date has fallen between the months of January and February. We assume Samsung will keep the same cadence for the Galaxy S25. Unfortunately, we'll need to wait to figure out the specific date. It seems to reason that the Galaxy S25 series will consist of the Galaxy S25, the Galaxy S25 Plus, and the Galaxy S25 Ultra. After all, Samsung has employed this naming convention since the Galaxy S20 series. Tipster Yogesh Brar made a fairly unusual allegation on August 16 though. The leaker indicated that Samsung could be mulling about a name change for the Plus and Ultra variants. More specifically, Brar said that the Galaxy S25 Ultra might become the Galaxy S25 Note, while the S25 Plus could become the S25 Pro. We've already seen Apple offer the iPhone 15 Pro, which offers more features than the iPhone 15 Plus. So we're betting an S25 Pro may be a more feature-packed product than an S25 Plus. But this is just a rumor for now, so you shouldn't hold your breath for this change. As of now, we're still believing that there will be Vanilla, Plus, and Ultra variants in the Galaxy S25 lineup. The design of the Galaxy S series has hardly changed in the last few iterations. That's why we were pleased when leaker Revignus revealed that Il-Won Lee, a former Mercedes-Benz designer, had been entrusted with making the Galaxy brand feel fresh, and that design changes are likely. Despite this revelation in September, reputable tipster Steve Hemmerstoffer offered a look at what the Galaxy S25 Ultra could look like, and it's quite identical to the prior 3 years. The renders revealed by the leaker do showcase a slightly fresh design that more resembles Sony's Xperia flagships. But it's hardly an overhaul. The gadget appears to have flat edges and rounded corners, while Samsung's iconic camera arrangement is on the back. We've also received dummy leaks of the Galaxy S25 Ultra by leaker Sleek7 that corroborate the phone's rounded corners. The mock phone seems as large as ever in the hands, with the unit measuring 162.82 by 77.65 by 8.25 millimeters, making it slightly taller, narrower, and thinner than its predecessor's 162.3 by 79 by 8.6 millimeters measurements. We've also seen a clear cover leak for the Galaxy S25 Ultra, which displays the S Pen placement near the bottom right edge of the smartphone. Tipster Ice Universe initially indicated that we may yet see some modifications to the texturing of the camera arrangement featured in the leaked renderings, but subsequently backtracked on those adjustments. Do note that things like the camera lens housing can be altered pretty readily late in the development stage. Meanwhile, fresh leaks from Hematoffer and Android headlines have offered us possible glances into the looks of the basic Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus variants. As per the leaks, the regular S25 appears to be getting a size reduction across the board compared to its predecessor, the S24. The alleged measurements are 146.9 by 70.4 by 7.2 millimeters, which is substantially smaller than the S24's 147 by 70.6 by 7.6 millimeters dimensions. Interestingly, this shrinking doesn't seem to affect the display size, which is projected to remain about 6.17 inches, and presumably advertised as 6.2 inches. There are a couple of other interesting improvements. The camera arrangement is now reported to incorporate rings around the lenses, similar to what we've seen in leaked renders of the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Additionally, the bezels appear to be becoming thinner, while the flat sides are set to stay for another year. We can expect the Galaxy S25 Plus to also come with the same aesthetics with a little bigger screen size, as seen in Hematoffer's renders as displayed. Strangely enough, the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus are believed to include very curious individual camera cutouts that resemble a bit like Super Mario warp pipes. We do have worries about lint and dust developing under the lip of these cutouts. Check it out in the Ice Universe image as given. Leaker Ice Universe also posted an image of screen protectors made for the Galaxy S25 series. The screen protectors compare the display sizes side by side and illustrate the revised rounded display style for the top-end Ultra model. One of the first pieces of information to surface regarding the S25 Ultra was the camera specs. Early rumors were quite conflicting, with some alleging substantial overhauls, such as going with a simple triple lens system, and a big increase for the primary 200 megapixels lens. However, as the year has gone on, most of those early rumors have been struck down. The most current info hints to a few changes for the Galaxy S25 Ultra, but not a total makeover. Ice Universe provided a slew of alleged Galaxy S25 Ultra camera specs on Weibo on May 27. They stated that the Ultra phone would stay with a 200 megapixels primary camera and 50 megapixels 5x periscope telephoto zoom, but would swap to a 50 megapixels ultra-wide lens. Unfortunately, it looks like we won't see a 50 megapixels 3x telephoto camera to match, as the tipster believes the Ultra phone will maintain the present 3x 10 megapixels telephoto lens. Leaker Sperandio 4 Tech also supplied info on sensor modifications for the two updated lenses. Allegedly, the Galaxy S25 Ultra's ultra-wide lens might get a new version of the 1/2.76-inch JN1 sensor. Meanwhile, the 3x telephoto lens could get a new 1/3-inch isocell sensor. On June 27, we finally got a better look at what is believed to be the sensor for the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus, as the business revealed numerous new sensors, but it was the isocell GNJ that drew our eye. The GNJ has a sensor that's basically on par with the main camera sensor in the S24 and S24 Plus at 1/1.57 inches versus the 1/1.56-inch sensor found on the two S23 phones. The new sensor also sports 1 micron pixels, much like the sensor used on the S24 and S24 Plus. Leaker Ice Universe also adds that Samsung decided to continue using the same sensor on the S25 and even the S26, hinting that we may not see a whole lot of change on these. Some of the biggest Galaxy S25 speculations so far have linked to the CPUs. Samsung returned back its history of delivering the Galaxy S series with a Snapdragon CPU in certain areas and an Exynos chip for the rest of the world with the S24. This was after the much welcome decision in 2023 of forsaking Exynos and offering Snapdragon CPUs for all handsets around the world. In September 2024, a Korean outlet reported that the Galaxy S25 series would entirely use Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 CPUs, which could be excellent news for individuals who don't like the Exynos/Snapdragon split. The article further indicated that Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 for Galaxy chip is specialized for the Galaxy S25 Ultra. If Samsung does go all in on Snapdragon, the Galaxy S25 could get a considerable speed increase. Tipster Digital Chat Station believes that chips will hit 4 GHz. This would be a considerable improvement from the Gen 3 processor, which is capable of reaching 3.34 GHz. However, a contradicting story indicates Samsung is trying to increase its Exynos 2500 chip yields so it can once again provide several chip configurations depending on the market. Furthermore, one source indicates the corporation could possibly deploy a MediaTek Dimensity SoC for specific models. This looks less likely, and it's crucial to emphasize the origin is a bit suspect with this one, so a grain of salt is necessary. Google's DeepMind team also alluded at a MediaTek flagship for a future Samsung phone, but later classified the content as erroneous. Still, it seems probable Samsung isn't satisfied with Qualcomm's exorbitant pricing for its chips and is aggressively seeking for other solutions. Moving on to the display, not much is currently known regarding display specs outside of the rumor that the series could go bigger. However, Samsung has been working on next-generation OLED displays that will allow fingerprint scanning anywhere on the screen and allow several fingerprints to be scanned concurrently. Onto battery specs, it's possible Samsung could be aiming to adopt stack technology for the battery in the S25 series, according to a report from the ELEC. This innovation is frequently utilized in electric vehicles, but it appears Samsung's research and development department is exploring moving it over to cell phones. Stacking refers to the way cells in the battery are organized, which can lead to a higher energy capacity inside a smaller volume. According to the report, the layup might deliver a 10% gain in energy density. Meanwhile, a tip from Galaxy Club indicates the basic Galaxy S25 could have the same 4000 mAh capacity as the Galaxy S24. This isn't awful news, but it might be frustrating for those wanting to milk out a bit more energy from the Galaxy S25. As for the Galaxy S25 Ultra, Tipster Digital Chat Station advises to expect a 5000 mAh battery with 45-watt fast charging. This was then validated through a Chinese regulatory filing, which states that the phone supports 45-watt charging with 15-volt and 3 amperes requirements. The same listing also hints that the Galaxy S25 Ultra could offer satellite connectivity, something that was anticipated on the Galaxy S24 but never happened. What about the Galaxy S25 Plus? Well, Galaxy Club indicates that you can expect the same 4900 mAh capacity as the S24 Plus. In a reaction to a social post from Samsung, Tipster Ice Universe believes that the base Galaxy S25 will once again include 8 gigs of RAM. Presumably, the leaker is claiming that just 8 gigs of RAM will be accessible, regardless of the configuration. If correct, this would indicate the S25 will have the same amount of memory as Samsung offered the S24 and S23. However, the latest Android headline story strongly claims that the base Galaxy S25 model will start with 12 gigs of RAM this year, presumably to enable for better handling of AI activities. Ice Universe also mentions that the Galaxy S25 Ultra will have 16 gigs of RAM. Samsung Tipster CAD indicates that the Galaxy S25 series could include 12 gigs RAM for the regular and Plus models and 16 gigs for the Ultra. While it is feasible we won't see a change in the quantity of memory, the storage story could be different. Samsung Semiconductor presented a roadmap for the future generation of UFS. That roadmap claims the corporation will release UFS 4.0 4-lane CS in 2025, before jumping to UFS 5.0 in 2027. When it comes to cost, Samsung has kept quite steady over recent years. For the previous 3 years, in fact, the Standard and Plus models have stayed priced $799 and $999, respectively. The only price adjustment that happened over this time span was with the Ultra model, which went raised by $100 in 2024. The good news is that there's not enough information to imply a price hike for any model. On the other hand, the bad news is that there's also not enough information to imply that Samsung won't execute a price rise. If we were to predict, however, we anticipate the cost will remain the same as it was in 2024. To lend some weight behind our claim that we won't see price rises, Apple's prices for the iPhone 16 series, an established benchmark for Samsung's pricing, remain steady this year. This heavily suggests we won't see revisions from Samsung regarding Galaxy S25 pricing, at least in the US. Unless you're dead set on obtaining the latest and greatest from Samsung, there's not really any need to wait. The exception to that is if you're not in imminent need of a new phone. In that case, it might be worth waiting to see how the Galaxy S25 series turns out. If you need anything now, Samsung's Galaxy S24, Galaxy S24 Plus, and S25 Ultra might certainly suit all your needs. Likewise, you have your option of perfectly functional non-Samsung handsets that vary anywhere from luxury to budget tier and everything in between. For example, the Google Pixel 9 Pro is a strong handset that boasts amazing cameras and neat AI features powered by Gemini. There's also the Nothing Phone 2 if you want a flagship smartphone that won't harm your pocketbook. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more tech news. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.